holiday, our overall scheduled capacity by the airline, so the number of seats that people can book from SDF this summer, are up about 3% compared to where we were last year. So a nice hearty increase. And keep in mind, last year was SDF's best year to date. So if we best that, we could potentially be looking at a new record-setting summer. We're expecting to see larger than normal crowds. So anyone who's traveling needs to be mindful of that. Make sure they arrive early and be prepared just to see a large volume of people coming and going through SDF this coming summer. New for summer 2025 here at SDF that we did not have last year. We have 9 nonstop routes that were not flying last year. This doesn't necessarily mean that they were new nonstop destinations for us, but they are new routes that maybe these airlines were not specifically flying, but there is a demand to help people get to some of those favorite vacation destinations. Breeze is flying to Raleigh-Durham, and they've extended their Fort Myers service, which has typically been seasonal for fall and winter, into the summer as well. Spirit's added service to Atlanta, Dallas-Fort Worth, Newark, Myrtle Beach, Tampa, and then their Detroit service launches in mid-June on June 13th. And then Southwest will be starting nonstop service to Nashville in early August. So that's 9 new destinations that we didn't have last summer that, again, will help increase this. Overall capacity increase, again, being up about 3%. This is on average about 2.5 flights a day more that we'll see. So, again, just continuing the positive momentum, the positive growth that we've been seeing here at SDF over the last few years. Traditionally, those morning departure times, anything before 8:30, 9 a.m. tend to be our busiest period of day. So it's crucial that people are here 2 hours in advance. Again, for those morning departures, be here at least 2 hours in advance to be mindful of that. Have an idea where you'd like to park. Our surface lot and our garage tend to be the most popular, and they can experience some intermittent lot closures as those parking areas become temporarily full. So be mindful of where you want to park. Our East Premier lot and our West Premier lot, both very convenient and adjacent to each side of the terminal, are great options, as well as our Express Shuttle lot, which has a $5 daily rate right now with pre-reservations at sdfpark.com. So that's an awesome deal for people to take advantage of as long as they pre-book that parking online. Also, if you're ride sharing to SDF, you can save $5 and visit flylouisville.com/save5, SAVE number 5, with the promo code information listed on there. So that's another great way for people to be mindful of stuff. As far as travel tips, again, make sure you're here early, know what can and can't go through carry-on and what has to go in your check luggage. Remember your 311 rule about liquids, gels, aerosols, and creams. Nothing larger than 3.4 ounces, and everything must go in a single, no larger than a quart-size clear container when going through checkpoint if you don't have pre-check and that type of stuff. Real ID here at SDF, we've not really experienced any issues related to Real ID here at SDF. Things have been running very smooth. But if you do not have a Real ID, I will remind everyone just to make sure you're here even earlier, as there are additional screening measures subject to through TSA. You could be denied boarding, but TSA has done a great job at working with folks who don't have that Real ID yet to help them still be able to get through the checkpoint and onto their destination. I think from my standpoint, that's kind of it in a nutshell, but I'll be happy to take any questions.
Allie, I have a question. So looking at the potential for record-breaking travel this weekend, was that something that was given that some people maybe don't have the Real IDs, there's been inflation? Is that a surprise at all that it's been this big and all that going on?
So we're kind of looking at the whole summer travel season, kind of, starting with Memorial Day through kind of August timeframe. I won't say that it's really a surprise to us, simply because the growth and the positive momentum we've seen here has just continuing. Our numbers continue to build. More than 4.8 million total passengers last year was no accident. That was very intentional. We've added a number of nonstops. We have more nonstop destinations than we ever have before. So it just seems to continue to build. But at some point, you have to ask the question, will you plateau? So continuing to see even, single-digit growth at around 3% for this year, we still take that as a very good sign. People are wanting to travel. People are wanting to get back out. It's something that we always keep a close eye on to monitor, but right now we're feeling pretty good about it. So, anyone else? All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Hey folks, thanks for staying with me here on this stream. The airport in AAA was just giving us some advice for folks who are traveling through the airport for their Memorial Day vacations and plans. Just things to keep in mind getting to the airport ahead of time. This is the first big holiday since the Real ID is going to be enforced. If you do not have a Real ID, make sure you have your passport with you so you can travel without any problems. So Wave News anchor Brian Schlonsky is working on this story for us. So he's going to have much more coming up later. Just all of the things that you need to know about where you're going to park, about getting to the airport on time, what you need to travel, and make sure that your vacation plans start off on a good note. All right. I'm Myra Ansari. Have a great day.